I'm black. We got the countdown this time, right?
We got it.
Excellent. It's good to see you, my brother. How things going for you?
Good. It's been one of them. It's been one of them crazy weeks. And again, I know I give the weather update. We're still in the 70s, 80s. I know y'all got like 110 in Austin, and I'm like,
You can leak. Yeah, we over here burning up, bro.
burn it.
Every time someone comes from Chicago or California or New York, maybe they're like, "It's so hot here." I'm like, "This is just normal.
Right.
This is it." And then you get people from
Like,
Phoenix.
in Houston. I was like, "You going out?" She's like, "I ain't out in a week."
Yeah, but then you get people from Phoenix, and they're like, "Well, this is it's really humid here." I'm like,
Right.
"This don't feel humid.
Because you used to it, right? It's
It's
like,
hot."
this is hot. Well, I hope
Well,
break.
say again.
I said, I hope y'all get a break.
Well, I think we were hoping on top of hope because there was a rainstorm thing that came in supposedly early this morning, but it was like a drive by. It just went by, just said hello and waved its
Hi,
hand.
hi, bye.
I'm not sure who got any rain, but
Right.
I didn't see it. I saw some clouds. I woke up early this morning. There's lots of clouds. So. But hey, we got some really good topics for us to discuss today. One, I thought it'd be good for us to. I think you have an update on the whole R Day situation.
Yeah.
Wanted to give some love to Dolly Parton. Maybe talk a little bit about how I think some people might be surprised the number of Black folks who are saddened by yes, exactly.
Me.
Yeah. And then some topic we were meant to talk about last week we didn't get to was the unrealistic expectations around dating, specifically the fact that only 14% of men are above 6 feet tall. So we'll get to that. And then last, this whole controversy, well, not last, but the controversy around the flock cameras and these police officers using it to track their ex-girlfriends. What
What's that?
That's some
Come on,
old
man.
1972 stalking kind of stuff.
Right.
And then last but not least is our side eye. This has to do with Target, and some of y'all may have heard about this, but Target out here giving out Halloween costumes to look at racist.
Crazy.
And Target,
this is a quick sidebar. It'd be nice if we could have a week on this program where there would be no racist shit that happened.
Ooh, you're asking too much. You're asking too much, bro.
Bruh, you asking for too much.
Because you know how it is in these streets.
It's crazy in these streets, man. I'm like, racism is rampant in the streets. I'm like,
and the thing is, it'd be nice if they come up with some new kinds of racism. It'd be the same old stuff.
It's same old tried, dyed in the wool, stupid racist stuff. I'm like, man, come on.
There you go with your racistness,
right.
and you're not even creative with it. nigga.
Right, you're like, oh, that's so bold and different. I haven't heard that 1,000 times.
Million times.
Right.
Well, cool. Well, before we get started, I want to do a djembe card. Here's a good one. In the past, I've been quick to judge blank. In the past, I've been quick to judge blank.
Everybody? You're
like who did you judge?
Yesterday? I was out for lunch with a friend of mine the other day, and she's like, you have a lot to say about people and what you think about what they've said to you. And she's like, I wonder if like after I have lunch with you, if you're judging me as well. And I was just started laughing. I was like, yeah, I guess I do have a lot of judgments in me. I was kind of thinking, I'm like, well, as long as you don't say nothing crazy, I ain't got nothing to judge, right? So sorry, Gary.
Don't be crazy.
Right, don't be crazy. That's the general rule is like, don't be crazy, don't say nothing crazy, and keep the conspiracies to a minimum. Most of my judgment, I think, comes in and it's mostly black people, I gotta say. I'm like, why we gotta have the black people conspiracy like network? That could be a whole TV program. Black people conspiracy like network. Like, you just got it up and down. I'm like, from the Illuminati on up and down. I was like, oh Lord. I'm like, is it really? Is it really?
Is it really?
Is it really? That's all I got. Yeah, What about you?
I tend to if I get any inkling or if my spidey sense goes off, and you're a anti-vaxxer, I'm pretty quick to judge.
You like
Not that you
judging
can't be
board?
against vaccines, whatever. I mean, people don't eat. I mean, I don't eat chicken. I mean, I don't eat beef or pork just for own
Mm-hmm.
reasons.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not being against vaccinations I have a problem with. It's the conspiracies that go along with it and the
Mm-hmm.
pseudoscience that supports it. And if you just don't want to take vaccines because you prefer, I mean, I almost feel like you're better suited to say, I don't like that kind of medicine.
Right.
Versus, I think there's a conspiracy to give people autism and stuff like that when there isn't really solid science, consistent science that supports that.
You do
And
sort of
so,
tend to like think you're crazy too.
I mean, a little bit. But
You being real
again,
again this week, bro.
but I rather you just say I don't believe. I not so much I don't believe in vaccinations. I don't. There's plenty of people like who women who say they don't want to take the medicine when they have their child.
Mm-hmm.
They just don't want to. They want to have it natural, and
Right.
they feel like whatever. It's not really oftentimes a real long rationale for it. It's just kind of like I prefer this, and I'm like, okay, cool.
Right.
And then half of them change their mind halfway through.
Like, damn, this hurts.
But they kind of made a decision. Their rationale's kind of I prefer this. All right, cool. I just think sometimes I hear from anti-vaxxers. I rather sometimes hear I rather not. I'm not into modern medicine
Right.
and the things that they say it does, and I'm concerned that it might have some long-term impacts, and so I prefer to avoid them. Okay.
It's funny that you say that though, because honestly, I think there's a part of me that would be like, if somebody said, I just don't want to do it, I'd be like, personally, I think that's stupid, but okay. I'm like,
And if
you got free will and free choice. So if you just don't want to do it, don't do it.
right.
But to your point, it's the rationalization in pseudoscience is the part of that particular one that drives me crazy, because I'm like, and you can't convince them with real science
Mm-mm.
that, and I think for me, especially as a psychologist, it comes down to your real answer is you don't want to do it. But for some reason, that's really hard to own for
Right.
people. I mean, I don't well, I watch it every day as a therapist, but I'm like, owning like, yeah, I don't want to do that.
Yeah, there's something about that feels a little, and I know this is a judgment, but it feels a little more pure. I personally I don't like that. I don't want that. I don't like chocolate. I don't like vanilla. It's my flavor or it's not my flavor, and instead we get into these long, and it's also I think the reason why there's such a long kind of explanation is unwillingness to deal with consequences, right?
Yeah.
Consequences are if I don't take this vaccination, I can't attend these things. I can't get on planes. I can't do a lot of things. And it's not your life isn't over. It
Right.
just is now you're limited, and so those limitations become a problem. And I understand that it's very uncomfortable, but that's the nature of the choices that we take. I mean, if we decide, hey, you know what, I'm not going to pay attention to those red signs and those stop signs because I don't think they apply to me. Okay, but then the consequence is you're going to get some tickets eventually, not all the time, but sometime. And if you hurt someone, there's going to be consequences because they're going to say you're being negligent. And there's just some things that we agree upon as a society that we're going to do. And if you decide not to do it, there's consequences. And I think that ends up being the challenge.
Society, right?
Yeah. And I don't want to deal with those consequences. And I'm like, okay, I get it. I mean, I don't either.
Right.
But when they stop me for speeding, I'm gonna be like, all right,
right,
you got me.
You got me. I'm like, I'm gonna take this one, and maybe I'll slow down next week.
Yeah, maybe. I got lead in my veins, unfortunately.
Right. It's a hard maybe. It's a hard maybe.
But for me, what the prompt makes me think about is, maybe I could slow that judgment down a little bit. so I don't get there so quickly. When I come across someone who's a anti-vaxxer, maybe a little more.
So let me
There
be.
might be a time to be
Well,
more
why?
open-minded.
So I'm just gonna be provocative for a second. Why slow it down? Like, is there something inherently bad about being like, I don't dig anti-vaxxers who like have pseudo logic behind what they're saying?
No, I think for me it's a more of a practicing the possibility of something being learning something, right? I'm not saying every time. I'm saying that there might be that time
I
that I
mean,
come
what you gonna
across.
learn from JFK Jr., right?
But see him, I'm done with him, so he don't get no chances. Him and Stephen A. Smith get no chances. But someone else I don't know who's a brand new anti-vaxxer, I'll be
Maybe,
like, let me hear your story. Maybe not, maybe gonna surprise me with something new. That's cool. But
yeah.
Stephen A. Smith and RFK Jr. they get the boot.
They done. I will say, so I was studying this thing around Gestalt consultation, and one of the things that it talks about is resistance and sort of
Hmm.
leaning into resistance. So I can appreciate what you're saying from that standpoint. It's like maybe there's something in the resistance, i.e., I'm not taking the vaccine, that we should be aware of,
Hmm.
and or as an individual, I should be aware of, you should be aware of, that might. I may not agree with what you're saying, but it's food for thought. There's
Yeah,
something that's food for thought. So
yeah,
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 that would be. I could work around that. I could
yeah.
get to that place maybe.
Yeah, it's a nice thought exercise.
It's a really nice thought. I was like maybe at best. I was like, no, you just kind of crazy. I'm like, that's where I'm at. I'm like,
Well, I think that's what kind of happened initially. I think people were kind of like anti-vaxxers. They would listen to him. They were like, "Well, that's not a bad point. Oh, okay, I didn't know that part. Okay." And then you start to keep on listening. You're like, "Oh, wait a minute, this is starting to sound a little out there." So,
more and more, second by second, you're like, ooh, right.
ooh,
That's a bridge too far right there. I'm like,
so far, so
yeah.
far.
Mm, mm.
But hey, let's get on. I want to start off with Dolly Parsons, and then we can talk
Parton.
about our day.
Man, they're gonna
Um,
kill you. Dolly Parton.
Parton, I said Parsons. You know what it is because I wrote it as Parson. That's my fault.
Clearly, you're not a part of the black people who are really mourning Dolly. Is
I
what I'm.
mean, I'm mourning it in a sense. I mean, I actually watched a little bit of 9 to 5. Just as a like, oh, I remember this movie, and it was so young at the time, and
I
I mean, that was like, what is that, 46 years ago? I mean, so
wasn't it like in the 70s
it was
or
no
in the
80 is when the movie
early?
came out.
Okay,
Yeah, it was one of the most popular movies, actually one of the biggest money making movies for its time and ever for pretty much almost all women
female legend.
cast. So,
Yeah.
and the song was a big hit.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. It's been nice for hearing people talk about Dolly Parton. What's the name? What's the name, bro?
Parton. Just
Parton.
let's go with Dolly.
Dolly Parton. Dolly Parton.
Dolly.
Dolly.
Everybody know Dolly, right?
It's been nice to hear the old videos and just the commentary. And I think the thing I noticed about her, because she wasn't one to be political per se. She said that pretty consistently, and so you never really heard her talk about who she's going to vote for or that kind of thing. But she did talk about taking care of people,
Mm.
looking out for others,
Mm-hmm.
doing good by others. And so you didn't need to know who she was necessarily voting for. What you need to know is who she's willing to support and help and give a helping hand, and even just the people in her industry who she kind of aligned with.
Right.
She was good friends with. I mean, she could have been the kind of person that said, Whitney Houston, she can't. I mean, she all right. She's like, no, that chicken's below.
Mm-hmm.
And man, I heard my song in her mouth, and it was a whole nother life.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, Black Lives Matter. So I really enjoy, because I guess I compare her to like Michael Jordan, who tried to be neutral
Right.
on political
Right.
issues,
White people,
but she didn't.
or
Say again?
No, Republicans. Oops.
Right.
That was a Freudian on my part. White people,
Yeah.
Republicans buy gym shoes too, was his line.
Right. And so I get all that need. Maybe I guess I feel like there's a better case for Dolly taking a neutral position on political issues, but clearly she took a very strong position on when it came to caring for others. I only bring up Michael Jordan because he tried to be non-political,
Mhm.
but I didn't see him care for others. I'm not saying he doesn't. I'm saying I didn't see the same kind of compassion
Mhm.
for others that you saw with Dolly.
Yeah, I think that's really fair. You know, the stuff that she did with, I think it's called the Illumination Project,
Hmm.
her reading initiative where they were, donating books to kids. I mean, has impacted hundreds, if not thousands, maybe even millions of kids' lives, which is pretty cool. When I read that piece about her a couple of years ago, I thought, boy, that's really amazing that she's doing that. I mean, I just read like with the song, what was it, "I Will Always Love You," uh,
Hmm.
as because she wrote it. So like all the proceeds that she got from the
Music, yeah,
music from Whitney Houston, she supposedly donated back into the Black community.
yeah, in Nashville or in
Yeah,
Tennessee. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
I'm like, well, that's really cool. So I mean, um,
amazing.
yeah, it is. It's funny. I'm not a Dolly Parton music fan at all, and so when I think about Dolly Parton, if I'm very honest, I really think about the music,
Yeah,
and I
country
don't
music
really like country music. So
with the twang and everything.
yeah,
The ching chang twang. Yeah.
drives me insane.
Hmm.
So I don't listen to it. So my first thought about Dolly Parton is the music, um,
Hmm.
and I'm like, yeah, okay. I'm sorry anybody dies. Well, almost anybody. In this case, I'm sorry she passed away. Lived a long, wonderful life. Um, that's it. Period.
Yeah.
Like
All right.
so all the tributes seem a little out of place for me personally, but I think about, to the point that you raised, man, she did a lot of good outside, of her music. I mean, her
Yeah.
music did a lot for a lot of people, but like where she utilized her wealth to give back to her native Tennessee, to communities
Hmm.
that, to kids that mattered to her. I was like, you know what? I need to give her, some claps for
Hmm.
using her money in ways that I think um, helps mankind well beyond just what she did with her music.
Well, and I don't know how much time you spent. I mean, it's kind of easier to do that when someone passes away, but I've been spending time on internets, and she was very transparent about her life growing up. She was one of 12, very very poor.
Mhm.
Her family, I think, stuck together, but with 12 kids and being impoverished,
Yeah.
they took a lot of handouts and help from a lot of folks, and so I think she saw firsthand the importance of having a community who looks out for you,
Mhm.
who give you scraps of material to help you make clothes for your children,
Yeah.
give you food, because you hear these stories, and I think part of me, the reason why her story really resonates with me, because oftentimes when we tell stories about poverty and neglect and all the challenges that happen to people all the time, every day in this country,
Mhm.
it oftentimes only looks like Black and brown people.
Yes.
When the
Yeah.
vast majority of impoverished people in this country are white Americans,
Absolutely.
and we pretend like they don't exist, and when we tell the story, it feels like a novelty,
Right.
one, it shouldn't be, but two, her story speaks to that, and I think it shaped who she was as a person. And what confuses me
Mhm.
is that when I talk to other poor white people who grew up with nothing,
Mm.
come up to be Republicans and don't want to look out for others, including others like themselves, and they kind of have that kind of rugged individualistic kind of nonsense in my mind. I'm like, have you looked at Dolly
Mm.
Parton? Have you looked at her and looked at her life and looked how she came up, poor as hell?
Oh,
I mean, and she's looking out, and she's not looking out just for her own. I mean,
right.
she's looking out for her own, clearly. I mean, she focused primarily on Eastern Tennessee,
Yeah.
where her people are from.
Mhm.
But she looked out for everybody because she's like, they need to be. I mean, I'm in a position to do something, and goddamn, I'm gonna do something.
Mhm.
And and so and the thing is, when you talk to other people like that, we're on such alignment.
Yeah.
It's like, man, it's crazy because you have this other group of people who like forget that they in the wait a minute, when did you become friends with
Right.
police? Because they coming after you just like they coming after me.
Exactly.
The government is trying to come after you and take your stuff just like they taking my stuff.
Mm-hmm.
You know, all the things that's happening to you is happening to me, and now, but we are somehow we're not on the same team.
Right, right, right. Like some kind of way you think you've transcended all of that, because of your wealth or whatever. Yeah, no. I mean, look, give her lots of accolades for the things that she did in life, and I hope like her education project. I hope it continues long after she's
Yeah,
um, after her transition.
because I forget if she had kids. I know she was married forever.
I believe I
Um,
read yesterday or heard yesterday that she did not have biological children.
right, right. But she has some nieces or nephews or something like that, and I think they're going to continue
Yeah.
the legacy that she set. Apparently, they've been planning this for a long time.
Mm.
I don't know if she had been ill or not, because there was a bit of a scare a couple months ago, and so people were kind of a little worried. But apparently, they've been planning. I'm not sure it's the executor, but someone
Right.
related to Dollywood, and all that stuff,
Mm-hmm.
said that they've been planning for this. So they're moving in the direction that she kind of dictated for them. So, which was also nice to hear, because as a Prince fan, it was so disappointing to hear that Prince didn't have a will.
Right.
That fool didn't have nothing. And so they folks were running around,
acting crazy,
acting crazy, fighting with each other. So I was kind of glad to hear that but I'm a firm believer in this. I heard this from people who work in hospice. The way that people live has implication for the way they die.
Oh, absolutely.
And so it kind of makes sense with her.
It makes sense. Right. I mean, she was pretty planful. She was organized, it seemed like. I mean, she thought a lot about her career and the trajectory of it and what she wanted to do. And, I mean, you look at folks like Michael Jackson and Prince, who became very famous, very young. I mean, she was relatively young herself, but, it almost felt like, well, the money's always going to be there, or I'm always going to be there. And, if I think about Prince's thing was about creativity. And I think that's probably for Michael Jackson as well, even though obviously Prince talked about stuff like owning his masters.
Right. That was a big thing.
And frankly, I will say, many Black folks don't think about, I ain't got nothing, so why do I need a will? Why do I need, a trust or whatever? And, personally, I will say I'm in the midst of trying to get all this stuff done for myself. We did it, I hope my mom doesn't mind me saying it, we did it for my mom.
Yeah, we have this for my mom too.
So I think there is a lesson in doing all of those things too. I mean, it's ironic, because if I think about what we did for my mom, a part of that, in a weird way, was about legacy.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah,
mark where you want your stuff to go. After you.
Yeah. How are you going to continue your legacy if you have anything to share and all that kind of thing? And clearly, Dolly Parton was in a position to do that more so than probably most people. I got
a whole lot more than my mama.
I mean, she had Dollywood, and
right. I mean, my mom's doing all right. I mean, she's doing all right, but she ain't doing Dollywood all right.
No, that's a whole nother level. I do want to acknowledge she was a very talented woman. She wrote a lot of her own music. She played multiple instruments. She got out there when it was hard for a woman to do anything, and she was very conscious of her, for lack of a better word, who she was as a woman, and using that and not kind of covering it up and being ashamed of it, but being very kind of proud of it and putting it out there, and was kind of part of her MO and stuff. But she wasn't just kind of ditzy like,
no,
she's not like, no, this is what's going down, and dealing with some sexist mofos. I mean, good Lord. I mean, and she survived. She found a way, and that's why I think I'm like you. I remember she came out with a movie with Queen Latifah. I ain't watching that. Yeah, she came out with a movie Queen Latifah. They're both singing and stuff, and I was like, I get it, but no, I'm not doing it. Matter of fact, there was even a movie with her. I think it was called Rhinestone. It was her and Sylvester Stallone.
Yes.
It was the most ridiculous movie. They had Sylvester Stallone singing songs and dancing and shit. I'm like, nigga, sit down.
like no.
But there's Dolly just...
You can barely speak, let alone...
Yes, but there's Dolly just singing away, doing her thing. So I don't know. I'm gonna say this is not to be provocative. I'm gonna say this as plainly as I can. Um, Especially think about the generation she comes from. There's a lot of white folks who have caused a lot of harm over the
Yeah.
years. The things they say, the things they do, and when they pass, people are like, "Oh, I'm so sad." Blah blah blah. I'm like, that
Right.
racism.
Right.
But
Yeah.
then someone like this passes. You just, man, she was such a treasure.
Hmm.
And so even though I didn't listen to her music, she wasn't my
Hmm.
person. I
Right.
wasn't going to like turn on Dolly. I'm going to go to a drag queen show and dress up like her. No, I wouldn't do none of that stuff. But I admire her. I
Yeah.
respect her, and I respect how others respect her and admire her.
Yeah.
So that's I don't know. There's something
That's
beautiful
well
about
said,
that.
man. Like that's well said. She lived her. She seemed, as much as we know, to have lived her life in an admirable way.
Yeah, yeah, and she lived the life she passed away. Admired.
Yep.
But hey, I want to hear more about. We'll switch over to our day. I think you have some info I'm not familiar with. So
Yeah. A quick update. So we talked last week about, kind of the tragedy of Jason Arday and his suicide, and everything that had happened to him regarding his scholarship. And we'd mentioned, and I can't remember the guy's name, the racist uh, professor and author who had um, initiated the case against him. He's now ironically, I can remember, he's at the University of Ghent. I think, where is that? In Holland, I think.
oh, so he's somewhere in Europe in Holland.
He's
Okay.
still in Europe. And he's been suspended
Mhm.
from his job. And he has tweeted that he thinks he's going to get fired um, from his role. And I guess the suspension subsequent to our day, and just sort of, it appears they're looking into what his role was in that situation, etc., which I think is I was going to say fair, but I think it's ironic.
But the irony
The
is
irony, it's like you caused a man to not only lose his job, but really were a catalyst for him losing his life. And now you reap what speaking of Dolly,
hey
you reap
hey.
what you sow,
What
right?
what did Malcolm say? Chickens coming home
Chickens
to
coming
roost.
home to roost. So I'll keep
Ah,
following it, but I just wanted to update our audience. I think here's somebody who did some foul stuff, in frankly maybe in pursuit of his career, out of animus, and now some of that is coming back on him, with
mhm.
you know uh, turnabout is fair play.
It is, and some people might be asking themselves, well, how is that possible? Freedom of speech, blah blah blah, academic, this and that. However, I'm not from Holland. I don't know how the laws work there. They might have a law that says you can't be racist. I don't know, but something that might still apply even here in the U.S. is if you knowingly spread misinformation,
Mhm.
like basically lying, and I mean you can be considered libel
Yeah.
if you knowingly shared
Right.
information to sabotage someone's career or whatever, and you knowingly did that, knowing the information you're sharing was actually absolutely incorrect, but you did it for some other
Yeah.
reason,
Yeah.
you can be held responsible for that behavior. And
Yeah.
so again, not knowing Holland's laws and how they do things.
Yeah. I'll tell you the part that was weird when I was reading it was it wasn't clear um, why they were suspending him.
Get bad breath. That's what it was.
Right. It's like,
We don't
oh,
like you.
he's suspended pending investigation. I'm like, okay. I'm like, glad you took the step, but I'm not really clear why you're taking the step, or what
Right.
are you suspending him for? So, I mean, in my mind, I'm glad, because I think you're a foul human being, but I'm also like, oh,
Out.
the part of me that's like about kind of fairness. I'm like, but what are you actually suspending him for? I'm like, he did his dirt somewhere else.
He already did his dirt,
He already did his dirt, already cost a man his life. He didn't do it at Ghent, he did it at Cambridge. So I don't understand, is there some kind of ethics code that he broke? Morality code? I don't know. So there's a part of me that's like, they're assessing what his role was. I'm like, well, I think the jury is pretty clear. he was the catalyst by making these allegations. Now, maybe it's to your point, if these allegations are wrongful and there appears to be animus behind them, and that becomes maybe an integrity thing for them, that maybe that's why they fire him. I don't know.
Yeah, and another way of thinking about it too, and I think this from an administrator's perspective, it politically or otherwise might be prudent for you to take this approach to almost kind of put a pause on these
Yep.
things to say, hey, you go over there, go lick your wounds. You might be getting harassed by people. People might be going to your social medias and stuff,
Right.
coming after you.
Right.
You get to go
Twitter
on vacation. You get to go over, be like Dave Chappelle and go to Africa and go on vacation, right? I don't know. Maybe he went to, I don't know, Sweden, or Norway. I don't know.
Right.
I don't know the guy from anything, but and then enlist the university or whatever, do their investigation, do the interviews, and so some time goes by, and then you kind of almost do like a temperature test, see what's going on. People still pissed, blah blah blah, and then you come out, we report, see how people respond. And then you can make a decision about, whether the guy comes back or not. Or maybe he gives him time to go find a job somewhere else and start.
Somewhere else, yeah. I think you're onto something with that, though, because I think probably from the university's perspective, the politics of having this guy on staff really bad.
You remember the first day of class in his class? Killer.
Right, exactly.
Murderer.
Murderous.
Some bitch.
Murderous cracker,
I don't know if they say that in Holland.
Right,
cracker.
Exactly, cracker.
Let's be clear. White people do use cracker against each other.
They do. They do.
We're not the only ones to call them cracker.
No. In Holland, it'd be very direct, though.
Oh yeah, they would be like, "Excuse me, sir. I want you to know you're a cracker."
Right. Murderous cracker at that.
Murderous cracker. They believe in freedom of speech like a mug over there.
Like they real free with their speech. And real
tell you like it is.
Oh my God.
I kind of love it. It throws me up a little bit at first.
It's a little startling. It is a little startling. I ain't gonna lie. I was with this dude. I was doing these assessments actually just outside of Amsterdam a few years ago. And this guy, we had sorry, got some pepper stuck in my throat.
Get that out, man.
Man, I love this garden and the peppers, but it's killing me. But we had all this data, from using the Hogan test about people's personality.
Oh yeah, Hogan.
And one of my colleagues at the time, he's like, "Oh my God, this guy's gonna be an absolute pill to work with," because his data was like, she's super direct. And I was like, I'm not so sure about that. I was like, we're working cross-culturally. This is not America.
Mm-hmm.
And like all these Dutch people were getting like they were just getting killed on the scale at compared to Americans because they were just super direct. And you talk to them, and I'm like, they're just really nice people who were like, literally, like if they thought your shirt was an ugly color, they'd just be like, your shirt's ugly. And literally it means nothing beyond, I think that shirt is ugly.
Right. It's not, I hate you. It's not, you're a bad person.
The Americans read all into it. That's a value statement about me as a human being. They don't like it. That's like, nah, man. He just literally hates your shirt.
Your shirt's trash.
Your shirt's trash. So booty. Right. And I'm like, and I actually remember going back to my college and being like, our analysis is really way off the mark. I'm like, you have pathologized what is a piece of their culture. I'm like, it's a direct culture. That's all it is. It's not pathological. It has nothing to do with them being bad leaders. It's just they're going to tell you something, and they're going to tell you quite directly.
Right. From the heart.
From the heart.
Hey,
right.
You
may take it as a stab wound, but it wasn't. It might have been a finger pointed at your ugly shirt, but that was all it was, man. We were like, oh my God.
Hey, one of my oldest friends, I've known him since middle school. He's his family's from Taiwan, and I saw him several years ago. He lives in Houston. He's a dentist. Beautiful brother. Mm-hmm. We were good friends coming up through high school and even part of college, but we had lost contact, and so I found him and connected up in Houston. And he saw him. He says, "You got fat." It was like right after. I'm not sure it was before or after hello. But It was real early in the interaction, and I was like, this man has not changed one bit.
Right? And you kind of love it. You're like, still the same. Still the
Yeah,
same.
still the same. And the thing is, I wasn't surprised, but I wasn't
Right.
offended. I was like, that's what he does. You know, that's my brother.
you. That's
That's
just
my
you.
Chinese,
Right.
my Taiwanese brother.
That's right. That's right.
Love him.
That. Like,
Well, I appreciate you sharing that because I hadn't actually heard about it. And I think people need to know that there's consequences.
consequences.
Yeah,
There is.
you need to deal with them, brother.
Right. Right. And the consequences of his behavior might be he gets fired.
Yeah, exactly. Well, hey, the one I want to touch on next, because we didn't get to it last time, was about the unrealistic expectations around dating. And the reason this came up for me, and I'll speak for myself, is when now you know I'm 6'2", and you're not quite 6'2" yourself, and so I came,
Thank
and
you.
so I came across an article that talked about how in dating apps, and I've seen this myself, where women are clearly, not all women, I'm not even gonna say a majority of women, I'm saying a good chunk of women will say you must be 6 feet tall. And these aren't women who are tall themselves a lot of the time. They're like 5 feet, 5'3", maybe 5'5". And then for them, I'm kind of judging a little bit.
Right.
The ones who are 5'9", 5'10", 5'11", maybe 6 feet, 6'2" themselves, I'm like, okay, that makes sense. You want someone a little taller than you. But came across this information that said, at least here in the United States, I think only 14% of men are above 6 feet tall, or 6 feet 6 feet or high or taller. And that made me think about that phrase that's out there that said, if we had like that semicolon thing they have on tests, it says, women's breasts to men would be height to women.
Oh Lord.
It's true, bro. Because you got all these men running around talking about women have this, women that, and booty, blah blah blah. Right. And you don't hear women talking much about other than maybe having a job and making a lot of money. Right. The other thing is you gotta be 6 feet tall.
That's right. 6
what
feet.
The hell is that about, man? It seems like discriminatory.
As one of the Short Brother clan, is very discriminatory. I mean, what's up?
He said, "What's up?
What's up?" Clearly not my height. I was surprised when you said like only 14% of men are over 6 foot tall, because that it feels like I'm always meeting dudes, like in work and places. I'm like, everybody, of course, I'm 5'6.5", right? So I'm not tall. So everybody kind of towers over me. So maybe my perspective on this is really weird. But yeah, I mean, like, where it becomes an edict for women that he has to be 6 foot tall, or I'm like, but why?
Yeah.
I don't. That part I haven't gotten in my head. I'm like, and again, I think we all have our preferences. You've seen that weird thing that like every U.S. president, except for I think Tricky Dick Nixon, has been over 6 foot tall.
Yeah, it's the same kind of thing. But I think there's something there you just mentioned. I think people think of leadership looking a certain way. I think there's some women, again, not all, I'm not even going to say a majority, of women, like someone was telling me not too long ago, so I just want a man who kind of, she didn't say throw me around, but she said like, can move me, right? And so in their mind, that's a man who is 6 feet, something above, who's, I'm not, because I asked questions. I was like, so are you talking about, you got to be muscle man? I said, no, I just want someone who's going to move me. And they were talking about their ex-husband, who was this tall dude. I think he was 6'5". But he wasn't particularly muscular or athletic, but she was, as a woman, she liked the guy who could kind of come over and just kind of move her. And I think she meant that in a kind of romantic, strong help. Because what was she mentioning? She said something about, she likes it, the idea that he could pick her up, and as a woman who's tall, the idea of a man who's, because I asked her specifically, so you're saying to me a man shorter than 6 feet can't pick you up? She says, I've never had that experience. I'm like, oh, so it's and I think it's like almost like a mythology that's around it of what that represents. It's not just a physical moving; it's something else.
Yeah.
And of course, now I want to go ask my brothers who are all 6 feet tall, and always like, hey, are we just moving women left and right?
Right. You just
I mean,
lifting them over here, like just be like, you know,
But
when I first thought about it, what I was thinking was like safety and protection. I mean,
yeah,
a taller man a woman might feel more protected or something in that. And that was kind of what I was thinking. And it clearly just could be the aesthetic, I mean,
yeah.
but that's interesting, you know. Yeah, it's interesting.
But you know what's really funny about this, bro? I get a little bit of hate from both sides of the paradigm. Short women are
Mm,
like, like, oh, so you like tall women,
mm,
or tall women like, oh, I guess you like short women. I'm like,
mm.
first of all, why are we talking about this?
Right. Like what? Where did this?
but I guess I'm trying to also react to when I see that on the profile when they say I prefer a man who's 6 feet tall. And I'm like,
Mm,
oh, okay, well, I meet the criteria.
right.
It's almost a sense of like, yeah,
Maybe
but
like a
then
little pride, maybe like
a little
okay,
bit
I'm
like,
in. Yeah.
I meet the criteria.
Uh huh.
Um,
Because
you
ain't
know,
nobody putting on there. I'm looking for a dude 5'4" or less.
I don't mean to laugh.
This is not on the profile.
I do want to see some profiles and say, look, if you 5'6" and up, we good.
Right. Right.
Just have a personality
See, because I'm
and a
like,
job.
tall and ain't got no personality. I mean, what's the point? You know.
So basically, what we learned from last week and this week is that we got some men, some stay-at-home boyfriends who are six
Right.
feet tall and taller,
Right.
who are letting their women handle all the business, and they get to push them around and move them
Right.
around.
Exactly. But he's still, the man in charge because he's,
I mean, apparently, because he's like,
because
move, woman.
he's like, move. Right. Right.
And if any women see this and say I'm not characterizing I missed the point. I probably did. I'm not going to pretend like I got it.
Right.
I know I didn't. I'm just reflecting on the nature of the circumstances. To me, this is no different than the conversations we've had for years now
Mm-hmm.
about men and women's unreasonable expectations around dating.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's one of them.
Yeah.
It's around height.
Right.
Or, when you're going around talking about, how would you rate yourself?
Mm-hmm.
I think I'm a 10. Yeah, your mama does. And Lord thinks you're a 10, but
Right.
none of the rest of us do.
Yeah. I think you're on. I mean, the other thing that what you're saying reminds me of, because we've talked about this thing, 40% of men are 6 foot tall or over. I can't remember what our stat was about, men making 6 or 7 figures.
Oh, same thing.
Same thing, right? I mean, it was so minuscule. I mean, maybe if you put those two things together, being super generous, 10% of the male population would fit that criteria.
That's super generous.
Right.
Just the wealthy short men.
Right. Exactly.
Look at Bill Gates.
Bill Gates, right? I don't think Buffett is particularly tall either.
No.
He also maybe bent over a little bit, but even when he wasn't. So if that's the criteria that you're looking at, how likely are you to find a partner? I'm like, your pool is pretty limited.
Right. It is.
Then if I add in the motherfucker got to be pretty too.
Oh, don't let me be pretty too.
Right.
But I'll be honest. Sometimes I've been in situations with women. I feel like I always have to give a caveat or context so I don't get killed out there. I'm not saying all women. I'm saying some women. I think they come in a situation to put all these conditions about what should and should be as far as relationship that are a bit unrealistic.
Mm-hmm.
And when they're not in place, it becomes a very easy way of dismissing or disregarding a person as being a viable option. Because, I mean, I've been told by many women, it's like, don't be judgmental if a woman happens to be overweight and she could be a really good person inside. And I'm like, I haven't said nothing about her being a good person inside. That's just not necessarily what I'm attracted to. Right. And I get it for some women, they want a man who's 6 feet tall because that's what they find attractive.
Right.
At the same time, there is a space to say, hey, let me be open to the other possibilities.
The possibility.
And so what I'm saying is that I've never not ever dated someone who's overweight. I'm saying in general, this has been my preference. And I know that about myself.
Right.
what I find to be attractive, and I see this with women.
Mhm.
But we're also not talking about only 14% of the population.
Right. Right.
And so I
Maybe
feel
a
like
lot of
sometimes,
why you're not finding your person, and
right.
maybe you have to expand. I've got a couple of friends who are, you know, probably much more salient. Like they're like, I don't want to date somebody who's divorced and
Or has kids.
or has kids.
That's
Yeah,
another one.
and I know I have lots of female friends who ended up kind of moving off of that because they're like, especially folks who are like
Yeah, especially this
40
age.
and up, and they're like, well, the number of men, or men who are seeking women who are 40 plus and haven't been married or don't have kids is pretty small. You
Yeah.
know, I mean, in the circle of people that I know, I think I'm literally, no, that's not true. I think I know 3 people who have never been married.
Yeah. I mean, now a lot of those people, let's be clear, those people are divorced who got married, right?
Right. Yeah,
But this is expectation that you've been
right.
married and been in a committed relationship.
Right.
Because the message is, if you've been in that situation, then you know what a relationship looks like. Whereas if you haven't been there, then you don't know what a real
Right.
relationship looks like.
Right.
And I don't know if that's true.
Right. 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 Exactly. I mean, I wouldn't necessarily agree with it, but I mean, and I think the other difference that maybe we're alluding to with some of this stuff is, the money, the height, divorce, not divorce, whatever. That maybe less so. In some ways, they feel a little bit superficial to me. Like, even the weight thing. You're like, I don't want to date no big girl or whatever it may be. It's like, but you could meet somebody who has this amazing personality,
Amazing.
character
Amazing.
that might be a little bit bigger than what you'd normally date.
Right.
And they are so amazing in so many other ways.
Yes.
You're like,
Yes.
you my person. Like,
But you're pointing to the thing, right? There's some guys and women who see that and won't even consider it. Like, we're not talking about big versus small. We're talking about just maybe a little bigger than what you're accustomed to or what you typically are drawn to.
mm-hmm.
But there's these personality qualities, the conversation, maybe what they do, maybe they're funny, they like to go out and travel. I mean, whatever it is,
Right.
there's all these other things that are so important.
Mm-hmm.
And so them being slightly not what you're accustomed to seems trivial, like you said, superficial.
Yes.
When it can be it's not the thing that's going to rock the thing one way or another. It's just a personal preference that after a while you're like, well, I don't know I mean, they got all this other shit going on.
Right.
I need to try this out.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Try this snack. Or as a comedian say, I'm gonna date me a big girl because she gonna be loyal. She ain't going nowhere. I'm like, that's messed up, man.
That's crazy too, right? I'm like, that's
crazy.
a weird thing.
Exactly. It's like these assumptions of,
really
because you big, you ain't got nothing better to do.
Is right, exactly. That sounds a little.
Us.
That's a little fattest in and of itself.
Is that a word, bro?
It's not. It's not. I use it a lot though, but it's not. I don't know what you call that.
I'm like, discriminate against the thickest.
Right.
The thickest.
Thickest. Although in Black world, thickest might be a positive thing. I'm like, I'm a thickest.
I prefer the thick.
Right.
The thing is, that's one thing I've had. I remember high school, I think it was. I had to explain. I think I was explaining to a white boy at my school. I said, bros, we like a little meat on the bone. So what y'all call skinny is anorexic.
Exactly. You're like, let me take you to McDonald's. You need to.
Yeah, let's go get some fries and a shake. Come on, baby.
And get a shake. Right. Get a shake. I'm like, it's like, ain't nothing back there. I'm like, I need something back there. I'm like, they ain't nothing.
I saw this video that said it was a joke. It was supposed to be funny. So it was a white woman. She's pretty attractive. She walks in, talking to these 2 guys, was Latino and black guy, I think. And she goes, "Look, I got junk. I got junk in my trunk." And says, "What do you think?" He goes, "Well, it's really long."
Oh, That's funny.
And again, there's going to be
It's
people
true.
on
I
the,
was
there's going to
wrong.
be some black, brown, and otherwise folks on here going to say, look, not all black and brown people have booties. I get it.
They do not.
The
Right.
longness and the short of it
Right.
affects all peoples.
Right. Exactly. You're like, oof, Lord, Lord. So the bottom line on this whole dating situation in relationships is let's try to be a little less superficial, male and female. Let's try to get interested in the person and getting to know them and connecting on a more human level.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And truth is, sometimes you don't know whether the height or other qualities that we're looking at, how it plays out in the relationship, right?
Yeah.
Because there's the physicality of it. It's how you look when you're in public with them. It's the conversations we have. It's how do we support. I mean, there's so many dynamics. There's something like height or weight or, how pretty they are or not almost can be inconsequential.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
think
After a while, you sort of stop noticing. Or this is my experience. I stopped noticing those things about the person, and what I notice is personality.
Yeah,
You know?
and how I feel about them when I'm with them.
Yeah.
Right. Because when you have the right feelings for someone, you just, again, those things, whoever they are is they are, and you accept them.
Who you're attracted to. Yeah.
You enjoy them and you love them, and you're like, man, and then you're like, oh yeah. I mean, I remember one time, my son, when he was a kid, we had a family friend, and I said, well, so and so's white. She goes, he's not white. And it was because we had a lot of conversation around race and stuff in our household, and there's some a little bit negative connotation to if you're white. And so here we have this friend who's white, and they're nice,
right? They're not that. They're not all
not this other thing.
Said, yeah, exactly.
And so it's funny how we make associations about things, but even when we're young.
No, absolutely. I mean, it happens. It's like, but they're my friend. I mean, it's that opposite of that conversation. I have a black friend. I mean, which drives all of us crazy. But I mean, at some point, maybe there's a part of that that's like, I mean, I hate to say it. I mean, maybe you do sort of forget race. Maybe
sometimes. I mean, there's a lot of people that race is not the most salient thing for them.
Right.
And I think it's something they never talk about, which is, to me, unfortunate, because you're missing the elephant in the room.
Right.
If anything, it's an opportunity to deepen the relationship, in my opinion. But people avoid it all the time. And it's kind of like those couples that never talk about politics, even though one's a Republican and one's a Democrat. They never talk about politics.
Yeah, I'm like, how does that work? I'm like,
I don't know.
What are the 15 other ways that's showing up in your relationship?
That's what I've been thinking about.
Dealing with, I mean, like we ain't.
But there's the other part about the profiles. I know there's a lot of heat that some men who are Republicans, particularly MAGA ones, who get upset because women are putting in their profile that if you're MAGA, don't even try. And so they feel like, I'm being misjudged or prejudged because I maybe vote Republican or maybe voted for Trump and I'm not being considered. But I'll be honest, there's a part of me that's kind of like, I don't know, that one's different. This is not height. Right. This isn't, body shape or, this is.
I mean, it's ideology and values. I mean, and yeah, MAGA is, maybe a bit of a surface, kind of nomenclature for it, but it does relate to what do you believe in and what do you value, and I think that is significant. I mean,
it's not superficial necessarily.
It's not superficial. Yeah, I mean, I'd much rather somebody nicks a dude, a woman nicks a dude because their MAGA and their values are misaligned.
Yes.
Because they weren't tall enough.
Yeah, they feel so much different because
feel way different.
I'd rather be negated as a dating option if you say, hey, you're kind of a liberal, and I'm like, okay, all right, we're okay, cool, thank you.
I was going to say thank you there. It's like I appreciate that because this would be a clash.
Yes.
In a relationship.
But don't tell me because you know what, you're just too tall. Your head's really big and you're too tall. I said, okay, you got me on the head part, but tall?
Right.
That's discriminatory.
Right. Well, I'm gonna laugh when you get hit with but you're not 6'5". You're too short.
Hey, when I hang out with basketball players, I do feel
Right.
that way.
Exactly.
They're like,
These
you're not quite tall
gargantuan
enough.
human beings,
Or
right?
hang out with some women in volleyball who are all 6 feet
Right.
plus.
Right.
You look at you, you're so cute with your six
Right.
foot two
Exactly. Exactly.
little
Exactly.
thing.
You little thing. Right. Exactly. I'm like, ooh, you so tiny. I
Yes,
could just
mama.
pick you up.
Yes, little mama.
Right. Exactly. He's like, put their arm. I had this tall
Well,
girl one time who actually played basketball, and she was like, she must have been like 6'3" or something. I mean, she towered over me, and I can't remember. Uh, we got into the conversation, and she kind of faked like she was putting her elbow on my head. I was like, "Come on, man!" I was like, "That's so wrong." I mean, I had to laugh with her, but I was like, and I was probably in my mid to late 30s, and she was young. She was like 22 or 23, so it was actually kind of funny. But
uh-huh.
I was like,
There
stop.
she goes.
I was like, stop.
Five
I was like,
disrespected
I said, why
the
are you trying
elders.
to shame me for being short? She's like, oh no, I did. I'm like, yeah. She just snickered the whole time. I was like, you wrong. You know you wrong. You
But
wrong.
see, but now you remind me of my brother. He said he was dating this woman a long time ago who was much taller than him. He's 5'5".
Mhm.
Well, I
My
know.
brother,
Yeah, I
cohort.
have a family of very short people. I'll call
What
them.
happened to you?
Yeah, that's a whole nother conversation right there, bro. You know, when my father used to get mad at me, he says, "Mama's baby, daddy's maybe."
Oh,
Messed up, man.
that's messed up.
Anyhow, my brother was telling me, he goes, he was with this tall woman, and they were doing their thing, getting their groove on. And he said she put her foot in the air and said, "Damn, this woman's feet are as big as my brother's."
I don't know that that's something that you want to talk about
I
at that
like
moment.
it had me cracking
Oh
up, bro.
God. Oh,
Oh,
bro.
damn. And the thing is,
That's
I'm
not
like, why
what you
would you
want to
think
have.
of that at that
You're right.
time?
At that time, you're like,
Damn.
clearly you are distracted, sir, from what you're supposed to be
You
doing.
need to focus.
Focus,
Focus.
focus.
I know when you get middle age, you get a little distracted sometimes.
Right. You're like, stop it.
Focus.
Focus. You're like, your attention has wavered. You're like, oh my God.
Look into her eyes and tell her
Others.
how much you care
Oh
about her.
God, that is hilarious. Like,
Who does that, man?
your brother's now infamous on the internet. On the internets.
You will be. You're
He's
welcome, bro.
infamous.
You're
Right,
welcome.
exactly. You're like, I'm mad at him from last week anyway, right? Exactly.
But I don't know if we have time, bro. For we didn't get to what was it, to the Halloween and the flock cameras, but I think we could touch on those for next time. Is that
Yeah,
cool?
yeah, we can do that. We can do that.
Because that flock thing is not going away, and
No, it's
Target
getting worse
they
and
just
worse.
stay in Target just stays in trouble.
Yeah, you know, Target needs to import some black people.
They need to get their DEI program back
They need
on
to put it
track.
back online. Maybe they'd be like, oh, like at least a quarter less racist and stupid. I'm like, bro, what are you doing?
Quarter less.
Quarter. I'm like, I'm not expecting a whole lot. I'm like, I'm like just slightly less racist. I'm like, you're. And by the way, your Halloween costume sales are going to be shit.
And I'll be honest, until you told me, I had forgotten about. I mean, I don't know why I forget because my daughter's birthday is on Halloween, but I don't think about it at all until like the week of. I'm like, oh,
Right.
Halloween's
What's
coming.
coming up? Yeah, yeah. You ain't got little kids.
Yeah, but even then, I'm pretty sure my kids had to come to me and be like, "Bobby, blah 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 blah." I'm like, "Huh? It's
Halloween. I need a.
September."
What's my college? Right, exactly. You're like, what? You're like, that's a month and a half from now. Why I got to think about that? I'm like,
Well, the older we get, the earlier things happen. They're gonna start planning Halloween in like I don't know May.
all right.
Christmas is gonna start right after Halloween, if not before.
I know a lady who starts doing her Halloween gift buying in June or July.
Wait, but she's buying gifts for Halloween?
No, for Christmas.
On Christmas. But
Uh,
still
for,
June?
for Christmas, June. Yeah, I was
They
like,
they tried that. They remember that, I don't know if you remember
right.
that. I don't know if it was Target or someone else, but they're like Christmas in June or summer
Oh yeah, yeah, I
Christmas.
remember that. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Because it's
I
like
don't
you can have
know.
layaway.
Leave me alone. Leave me out of the
I was like,
conversation.
man, look,
I don't want none of
it's
that.
called a gift card. I'm like, whatever.
And I get heat for that.
Gift
Like,
card.
how would you? I think gift card is the greatest move known to mankind. This is the problem. Gift card companies are hustling us, bro, because they know folks ain't gonna use that money.
Nobody gonna use
And it
it.
just sits
But they
there.
got your money.
But you know what I do? I send reminders to like my kids. I be like, you better use them cards.
You like that
Don't
card?
let the man
Yeah.
have your money
Right. Don't let the man have your money.
or my money.
Right. Or right. Like more importantly, mine. You know, like,
Well, hey, we'll get to those topics for next time. But this is riffing while black. We did a lot of riffing today.
We riffed a lot.
We riffed up.
I was trying to get to 6 foot tall. See, that's what I was.
Oh, we ripping up today, baby. Moving on up.
Right. Right to the 16th floor. Right. Like,
there you go. Hey, brother, it's good to see you.
Always
good to talk to you, catching up, and we'll get together same time next week. All right.
Sounds like a plan. Have a great rest of your week.
You too, brother.